Chair, and thank you for holding this hearing as well as Ranking Member Griffith. It is clear that based on the discussion today, there is still work to be done to protect life here in the United States. It is disappointing and horrifying to hear the belittlement and degradation towards human life in these settings. We must continue to stand for life, and we must continue to fight for the unborn. As a physician, I swore an oath to do no harm, and as a minimum, we must legislate to ensure that no child loses their life in a late-term abortion. And we must protect those who are born during an attempted abortion and make sure that they receive the same level of care as any other child. Dr. Francis, thank you for advocating for both the patient's mother and child. And thank you for addressing that the life of one cannot be sacrificed, and that harm that occurs affects both mother and child. In recent years, Dr. Francis, we have seen substantial advancements in medical treatment, further enhancing the ability of physicians to treat prematurely born infants and moving the age of viability earlier in a pregnancy. Can you please elaborate on your experiences in this area and how we as policymakers should treat these important advancements that we have seen as you've continued to practice medicine?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that. So, as I said earlier, the last 49 years, we have seen tremendous advancements in medical technology and medical treatments that are available. And in fact, all of those advancements have only gone to further support the pro-life position, or the position that advocates for both patients. As you referenced, the age of viability now has decreased down to where, depending on what center you're at, some babies can survive at 21 and a half to 22 weeks. And the reason that that's so important is because it helps us to recognize the humanity of these children throughout all stages of development. And I would like to address the issue of using medically accurate terminology. I agree with that. So just because we call a child in the womb an embryo or a fetus, that doesn't mean that they're not a human person. That's just a stage of development, and that doesn't end after they're born. You know, then they're an infant, then they're a toddler, then they're an adolescent, then they're an adult. So this is purely a term of a developmental stage. It doesn't make that child a different thing other than a human person. And again, we should continue to employ advanced medical technologies to support not only children, preborn children, but also their mothers. And there are many complications of pregnancy that, pre-Roe we wouldn't have been able to treat, and now we are able to because of advancements in medicine.
Earlier in your testimony, you talked about endangering the life of one, the unborn, the preborn child, and causing harm subsequently to the well-being of another, a mother who might entertain abortion. Can you address from your personal experience as a physician what you have seen in mothers who have had abortions?
Absolutely. So in addition to seeing women in the emergency room with immediate complications that their abortion provider did not care for and told them just to go to their local emergency room, I also have sat with women who lost, one woman in particular comes to mind, who lost her 5th wanted child due to a condition called cervical insufficiency. And when you looked back in her history, her first 2 pregnancies, before I understand, she was in a crisis situation. She was not ready to be a mom, but she had 2 surgical abortions for her first 2 pregnancies. We know that number of abortions increases a woman's risk of preterm birth by 90%. And as I sat and cried with her, as I referenced before, I just couldn't help but think, had someone told her that she was going to lose 5 wanted children due to cervical insufficiency, would she have made a different choice? And I understand that my patients find themselves in very difficult circumstances. I have sat with them, I've talked with them, I've tried to help find resources to help support them. But I just believe that as a physician, again, our oath, the Hippocratic oath that medical ethics is based on, expressly forbid performing abortions because it recognized that ending the lives of our patients has no place in the practice of medicine. Instead, our patients deserve real solutions to get to the root cause of why it is that they're seeking abortions.
Madam Speaker, as my time closes, I'd like to thank all of the witnesses for being here today, and especially Dr. Francis for your insight on the care of mother and child. Thank you, and I yield.
Thank you so much.